So friends, in this video I am gonna cover the main MVC frameworks, which are struts2, Spring, Hibernate and Tiles. I have created one project here with the name of student info, in which I have done with the programming languages of all the 4 frameworks and the use of them. So before starting with this, I need to clear the things which you need to set up before doing the programming. So first thing you have to download is this Eclipse, which is the IDE, which you can download by visiting the official website, and you do not need to install it. You just create the shortcut of this icon to your home page, and you can place the whole file at any location. After that, you need this SEO yoke community, in which you will create the database, and we will make the connectivity with the help of Hibernate. Also, you need this portable MySQL minify, and you have to click on this start button to make a successful connection of SQL. Now let's come to this IDE, and we will configure the server here. Click on run configuration. I have already installed this server, which is tomcat 7.0 version, and if you don't have this, you need to download this version, and you have to make the configuration from here. And after making the configuration of server, you have to add several libraries, because what frameworks actually do is they saves the code, because they already have the prepared statements and the tag libraries, which we use directly in the form of jar files. So here you can also see I have created one POM file, which have all the maven dependencies and all, which we will talk about later. Because friends, to be very clear, this video is going to be very fast, because in a short video I have to cover all the frameworks, and which is not very easy. So I will do everything in a quick way, so many things will not be understood by you, but when we will cover everything in detail in the further videos, you will understand everything. My motto is to create this video is so that you can understand the basic flow of these frameworks and the use of them. So let's begin with this. After configuring the server, you have to go to the build path. Click on this, and here you will see one option, build path. Here it is. Or you can do one thing, click on the build path, configure build path. Otherwise you can go to the properties, and here will be the shortcut of build path. Here it is. Now under this you can see one column, libraries. Here you must be having this server on which your project will run in a browser as a local host, and this is the GRE system library and the maven dependencies, which have a lots of jar file. It have the Hibernate file, struts file, spring file. So we will use these jar files and the tag libraries from there. So you just need to import them, and you can use all the functionality for free. So after configuring this project, you can start with the programming. So before doing any programming, let me clear the flow of these frameworks. Now friends, let's understand what is struts2 and what is the use of this. The main benefit of struts2 is the interceptor. When you will work in a company, you will understand the value of the interceptors. Let me give a brief introduction of interceptors and the tag libraries. Suppose we have one domain and URL. Suppose it is my name, anything .com/. In this we have one namespace. What is that? we will clear in the programming languages. Suppose this is the namespace and this is the project name which we are using. So friends, when someone will hit this URL, so this will be the class, and on this class there will be one JSP. We know what is the JSP. JSP is the page or the layout you have designed in Java, which will be displayed on the browser, and this is the name of the class. And by default in struts we have the class name .action. Action is the default extension of this. So when we are calling a class, it is rendering to our JSP, and that page is coming by default. The index.jsp is called by this XML page. So let's take a layout. Suppose this is our project in which we have the interceptors. This is the interceptors, and these are the MVC framework. We know the model, view, and the controller. So this is the controller, and here we have the model. This is the model, and this is the view. In view we have the different columns because this will showing as a JSP. These are the JSP pages. This is the interceptor, and here we have the action class. This is the action class, and here we have the JSP pages. These are the JSP pages. So what happen is, suppose you have a code in which you want to find something when someone is clicking your URL. Suppose, let me give a live example. I am working in a company. My company work as it is working on the different operators. Suppose for the different operators, they have the different color website, they have the different content on their website. So how they will deliver the required page to the customer until they don't know the operator? So we will use this interceptor. These are the preprocessors which find the values in the header. Suppose we are finding the contact number of the user who is clicking on this URL, so we will identify the mobile number before the request. Client is requesting from here, and the request will go to the action class, and action class will find the response, and it will show the related JSP to it. Suppose he want to log in, so if the credentials like the user ID and password is correct, he will go to the success page, otherwise he will go to the error page. So it will depend on the action class, because we have the logics in the action class, and JSP is the pages which is designed to display to the user. So suppose interceptors are the preprocessor. So on the clicking this URL, first of all we will find the mobile number from the header, which we do from the user agent, which we will know further. You do not need to worry about these things, just understand the flow. In what Spring do is it makes the bean. And what are the beans? Suppose we have different objects. Let's take an example. We have different objects which are related to each other, so it removes the dependencies of one object to another, and it make the bean, which in coding we use with this annotation auto-wired. What it do is it calls the object at the runtime when it is in use. Otherwise there is no need to call this without any means. So the Spring work is just to make the beans of the objects of different methods. And now let's talk about Hibernate. The use of Hibernate is just to make the connectivity of the classes to the database. Here we are using MySQL database, and we are using the Java code here, and in Java we are using different fields like a name, class, roll number, or the date of birth, and we want to map this with MySQL database. So we will make one XML file with the name of Hibernate, and we will do the mapping. So basically the all work of mapping with the database will be done by this Hibernate framework, which is also a part of MVC. So the work is mapping, and for this we make different business logics and DAO file, which we will see in the coding. So let's begin with the code. Here we have a project which I shown you in the beginning with the name of student info. Here before making a project, let me tell you how you will start with this. Create a new dynamic web project, and you have to give any name to this. Suppose demo 2, and this is the runtime environment. You can also set the runtime environment from here by just selecting this. When you will download the server, you just need to select and click on next. Here you will give the location of the server, and you will done with this. And the source file will be made by default. After creating a project like this, you have to create several classes and the JSPs, which we'll talk now. And before this, let me tell you, after creating the whole project, you need to right click on this project, and here you will find one option, maven. Maven are the dependencies of Java, which we can download in a folder, and we can map with by giving a path, or we can do it online by updating the project, and we can uncheck this option offline. It will take all the dependencies online. For this we have this pom file, pom.xml, which have all the dependencies. We will talk in detail about all this later, so don't get confused with. And now the main thing is you also need to clean your project after that, after updating, so that you will not get any compile time or runtime error. Now come to the project. Here we have one folder, Java resources. Under that we have the source file. In this you can create the Java classes directly, or to make code simpler, we add the new packages. Packages are just like the folders, so that we can separate the code. So I have one package. Under that, under this package, I have created one Java file. So you can create this Java file by clicking on other and find Java. Here we got the class. So we can create the classes, and we can rename those classes. Suppose I have. So after clicking the next button, we can give any name to this class. Suppose my name, but space will not be considered here, and click on the finish button. So we got this class, but we are not using it. So let me delete it, because it was just for the demo purpose. Now let's come back to the code. And here friends, whenever a client make a request, it comes to web.xml file. When we was not having this struts, then also we was dealing and doing the mapping in the web.xml file. So there is nothing new with web.xml. So we will find that file in web-inf. Also we create all the JSP inside the web-inf folder because of the security purposes, but I have created this outside, so they are directly accessible. So that's not a proper format of doing this. Here we have the web file, and here you can see in struts2, when we will use the struts2 framework, we will use a filter under this web app tag, which we will have here. Here it is. So inside this tag we do the filter mapping. In this we are just telling it that we have one configuration file or the XML file with the name of struts2, because we are using this framework, and redirect all. We know the meaning of this. We also use this like slash star, so that all URL which will be coming after slash, so it will be redirect to the struts2 file which we have here. So we are not doing any mapping here in web.xml. We are just making a filter and forwarding all the URLs to struts.xml. We cannot rename this file, it will be as it is, struts.xml. So here we have the action class which we talked about, and we will go to action about a bit later. Let's understand this mapping which we have done here. So in the first result we have shown the index.jsp. Whatever code you will place in index.jsp will come as like a home page, because it will be called automatically when you will run your server. After that we have one action name which we will show the code of this class, and if it will return the success, then we will get the welcome JSP, otherwise the error JSP. So these are the two different JSPs, and the decision will depend on the action class whether it is returning the success or the error. So let's go to the action class. This is the main action class from where our project will start. So before going further, let me run this on the Apache server so that you will understand what this code is all about. Now the server is starting. In the meanwhile, let's see the code. We have here two parameters. One is email ID, one is password, which we are getting it from the login DAO.impl file. Where it is, we can find. Here it is, login DAO.impl.java. This is the Hibernate file, the DAO and the BO, where we will make the interaction database, which is the major role of Hibernate. So here is the query where we are mapping the email is equal to email. This is the name of the text box which we are having on our project. So I was getting the error in the project because I have not started this SQL service. So click on the start button, and now let's come to the SQL your community, and it will the username will be root and the port will be 3306. So if you are not changing it, so you need to use the same port number and the username in your code and leave the password empty. And here is the database which I am using in this project. So I think you know how to make these queries and the login table. If you don't know, you can watch my SQL tutorial so that you can make these tables and how to make a primary key and all that. So this is the ID which is auto incremented, and these are the fields. So I have taken these fields so that when someone will do the registration, he need to fill all these credentials, and when he will take a login to his account, he have to authenticate himself with the email ID and password, which we do in Facebook and all the services other top websites which you have already seen, so I do not need to explain this. Let's come to the project. Suppose I have entered this data from this sign up page. When you will do the sign up and click on the submit button, data will come and save in a row which will be added. It is up to 3, so automatically it will be incremented to 4 and data will be inserted. So I have some of the data which I have created, so let me show you by taking a login. Let's come back, and this is the ID and the password is this. Now it's showing the wrong credentials. Let me fix this. Sorry, this is the name and password is this. I was entering the wrong password. Now I am coming to this login page. So it was the successful login. You can show any JSP when the credentials will be correct. You can redirect your user to any page, and when suppose it will be wrong, so I have created this error JSP. So this is the flow of this small project, which is nothing but we are using all the technologies and framework here. So this is the authentication process, and let's come to the DAO file. So from here we was talking about this database interaction. After this the code is going to set the data. This file we have already talked about. So this is the Java file which I have created with the name of user.java. Here we are making the getter and setter of all the parameters which we have in the table. Suppose the email, password and all that we are. And in Java we can make the getter and setter automatically, which the automatic process. You will get the pop-up when you will code yourself. And the main thing is in the database you can see I have taken this date of birth in integer and the mobile number in integer, but when we code in Java we have to take all the credentials and parameters in the form of string. So I have take all that in a string, and I have parse. We have to parse this, which we also call as a typecasting later on in Java language, but you will accept all the parameters in the form of string. So we will do the typecasting later on, otherwise it will give an error. This is a Hibernate servlet context listener where you can have a look. You will not understand anything here, but you can see that Hibernate use the session factory. And we will talk about all this later. Now after making an interaction with the overview of all the frameworks, let's understand the GSPs from where we was getting the output of those pages. So we will get that inside the web.inf folder, but I have created them outside so that these are directly accessible without the mapping in the struts.xml or in web.xml. And we can also place the media files here, and we can give the direct location to access the media, similar like we was doing in the HTML. So this is the index.jsp, which was the default page which we was getting at the time of login. When we started Apache server, we got one overview, that was the index.jsp, because if we remember, we have mapped this index.jsp in our struts file. Here we can see we have mapped the result action, home action, to index.jsp. so this is the default page. Where it is, index.jsp. Let's come back to index.jsp. Here you can see these are the text tag of JSP, where we can also use the HTML code. If we are using the JSP code, we have to give the syntax like this, and these are the struts tag libraries with the name of prefix s. We can give any prefix to use the struts library, and we have to start the HTML tag with this if we are making use of struts, but here we have not used it, except from some places. This is the struts tag library, which we have embedded in the plain HTML code. So we have to make the small changes if we are using these frameworks, and otherwise it is a plain HTML code and some of the JSP tags. So there is nothing to understand more about the JSPs. So I think you are clear with the flow of these frameworks. The use of struts is take a request from web.xml to struts.xml, and which will again forward the request to the action class. Action class will detect the output, whether it is success or the error, whatever is that. Again it will go to the struts, and it will render the JSP according to that output which we are getting from the action class. This is the role of struts. And also struts, we talked about the interceptors, which we have to detect anything before the request goes into the code. Suppose we have to find the operator, we have to find the IP address or anything before entering the request into code. We have to do that. Another thing what we have learned in this video is the Hibernate connectivity with the database, and the use of Spring, where we was making the override. We was doing the override and using the method at the runtime, and now we have left with the tiles and this code in a very detailed form, which we will do in the next tutorial. So friends, if you find this video informative, then please subscribe my channel so that I can also upload some of the new videos, so that you will get the notification from the YouTube side and you can watch my new videos of these technologies. Also put hi to my Facebook page. You can find me on Facebook with this is my URL of Facebook. You can leave any query, you can message me if you have any problem with the code, so I will try to give you the solution as soon as possible. Thank you for watching the video. Have a good day.